Good afternoon, everyone. How you doing? Is all right. Apologies. The server that we were using wasn't working, so I've jumped onto the YouTube server to go live. So apologies about this. So this video, we've got three things to talk about as well. We've got the Takeover, of course. That's the main title. It's a lot of a joke, isn't it? We've got Kevin Keegan to talk about, and of course a bit of team news as well. So thank everybody being patient in the live chat there as well. Like I say, restream the server that we use to stream out to Twitter and Periscope and Facebook is down at the moment. So that's the reason why we couldn't go live before, but we're live now, just on YouTube, which is fine. Get your comments in. I'll be reading some of them out as well. And what a day! We've got a few things to rattle through as well. So currently I'm on my lunch hour, my birthday as well. So get your birthday wishes in for us, right? But as is now, Kevin Keegan was up in Dunston last night with Terry Mack, with Peter Beardsley and Chris Waddle. Now, we know that Keegan, a lot hasn't come out yet about his talking last night. I think the Chronicle are holding back for a couple of articles to go out in the next couple of days. However, we know that Peter Beardsley is not allowed to be involved in football activity, but because this does not fall under the FA's jurisdiction, he is fine to talk and chat about Newcastle. And the event was more focused on the promotion side, Keegan's last season in football, where you had the emergence of Beardsley and Waddle. Terry Mack, obviously mates of Keegan, and Newcastle obviously got promoted that year, and obviously the famous helicopter scenes where Keegan went off in the helicopter, and that was mostly what the chat was about. Now, of course, when the questions were put to the floor, Kevin Keegan was asked about Newcastle United, and I must stress we'll probably hear more from the Chronicles because they were at the event, so you'll probably hear a little bit more about Newcastle in the day or two. I think they're holding back everything that was said, and it's interesting what Kevin Keegan said about Newcastle United's transfer structure. Have a look at this. So, Kevin Keegan said, I think this is time it has to start with youngsters coming through again. It has to be a different way. You won't get big name players to Newcastle because the really big ones will now go to Man United, Man City, Liverpool, Tottenham, or Arsenal, or Chelsea. And he's right. Because let's face facts, we're no longer a big six side. We haven't been a big six side really since just before Mike Ashley, probably. We were a bigger side than Spurs and Manchester City before Mike Ashley. And because we don't have the money to compete, because we know that because of the owner, you might have to start looking youth a little bit more. Now, of course, the Longstaff brothers are great. You've got Paul Dummett, you've got Andy Carroll as well, and you might have a couple of youngsters on the verge of possibly a call-up at some point during the season. Of course, there's big hopes on foreign youngsters such as Victor Fernandez and Elias Sorensen. Now, I think he's got some aspect of this right. No, I tell a lie. I think he's got it all right. And what I liked about Keegan, when he was chatting last night, he was calling you, me, and the club us. His heart is in the right place, and he still calls us, despite all the crap that is being put through by Ashley, and because he came back, he was buzzing. He wanted to manage Newcastle United again. It's his club. His dad supports, obviously, yes, Keegan's not from the area, but his dad's a diehard Newcastle fan, and he wanted to manage the club again in his way, and that was taken away from him. And obviously, Keegan, even though he's still hurt, still calls us. And I think probably Keegan, and to some extent, Shearer, have got unfinished business with Newcastle when Ashley goes. I think you might say an ambassador role or something like that. I think that's one thing that the club lack at the moment. Liverpool do this really well. All the big stars, the retired players, all have some sort of job at Liverpool. Michael Owen, yes, I know is not liked in the tune, but you look at John Barnes, Kenny Dalglish, Robbie Fowler. I know Robbie Fowler's got a job in the A-League, but you get me general idea. We don't have that in Newcastle. We've got a couple, but that's it. But going on the big news, the Takeover is back. Yeah. I cannot believe it. And the reason why is because we've seen this so many times. The story broke last night with the Daily Mirror. And of course, why are the national newspapers getting ahead of the local media astounds me, first of all. So you can see the headline there, Toon Takeover. And Craig Hope says, exclusive. Peter Kenyon launches a £300 million bid to buy Newcastle with US-based investors GACP Sports. Offers gone in. Waiting for Mike Ashley's response. 46 Pro share details, vision for the club, and structure of the deal. Excuse me, I've got hiccups. Full details can be found here with Matt Hughes. Blah 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 blah. As soon as everyone's seen this, everyone's like, "Oh, here we're going again. Is it a PR stunt by the club? Are they genuine? I questioned the Bin's Dai group a lot because all their statements were all third party. Every single one of them. And I kept questioning, I kept saying on the radio show to the lads, and I go, stop believing it. It's all third party. Why aren't they putting anything out official? So that was suspicious in that sense as well. Of course, they had Amanda Stavely, and now we've got the Peter Kenyon carry on as well. So, Mark Douglas, who was up late last night tweeting and putting some stories out for the Chronicle as well. We'll have a look at what he said, and I'll read some of your live chats out as well. Mark Douglas, so this is like a rundown of what was happening last night. So, news breaking tonight of Peter Kenyon bid with Newcastle with US investors GACP Group, who now own Bordeaux. More on that in a second. They've also got a 46-page brochure that aim to establish the club in the top 10. £300 million bid has been lodged. My take on the brochure, it looked like an attempt to raise funds for the bid rather than a done deal. Squad listed in last year's squad, for example, so it was actually all the details was over the summer in June, which had a lot of the players who haven't left. For example, Mo Diarma's in it, I was a president at Rondon. Bruce is mentioned as having an unparalleled success in Europe. And then Mark actually puts his own statement saying, there you go, we shall see cynicism rules in the Newcastle fan base. I have to share that. Although what's in the brochure was exciting, why has it been leaked again? Why, people? Why has this been leaked yet again? If you're trying to do business, right, why are you just leaking little things out? That's one thing I didn't like about the Bin Zaid group. It was all third party, it was all dodgy, it was dodgy DJs and Abu Dhabi and all this. You can get the general idea what I'm trying to get at as well. Let's read some of your live chat before we'll crack on. Happy birthday, thank you very much. Right, out Mike Ashley, good for nothing slob. Roy says another takeover rumour, where's the money that isn't even there. Mark says Kenyon's just a clown looking for another 5 minutes of limelight. 300 million is not enough anyway to convince Ashley to sell. More on that, but we'll go on to the structure and the breakdown of that in a minute. They said it'll all be again in January because the January window's coming up. Yeah, it's... the attendances are down massively in the minute, and the club are putting an official statement out saying that it's 43, 44, 47,000, what have you. It's not. It's a bit less than that because they account season ticket holders in that. I just can't believe it, and I'm sorry that I'm so negative because I've seen this happen. All we have seen it, and a lot of people had the hopes on the Bin Zaid group, and they generally thought that it was real and it was happening, and they got let down. And I just don't want anybody who follows our channel having expectations that anybody in Newcastle Fans TV believes this, because none of us do. None of us believe this story whatsoever. And why has it come out? Is it to get bums back on seats? Is it to get people back on board? It's a tactic that won't work again. You've tried it with Stavely. Yes, she's come out and said, I'd like to buy the club. Peter Kenyon has done it in the past. And now the Bin Zaid group. People are not going to fall for that. If this is a massive PR stunt, then you have to come up with something different to get fans back through that door. Because yes, winning breeds confidence, winning brings fans back. But what if Newcastle don't win games? How are you going to get people back? You're going to offer free tickets. Right, bid structure. Here it is. So a £300 million bid. It's going to be £125 million upfront payment payable upon transaction close. So they're going to give you Mike Ashley £125 million, and then over the course of 3 years, with a 3% interest as well, they're going to pay over £175 million, which of course with the interest will be more than that. But what alarms me, if the bid is serious, right, and I'm very, very sceptical on this, where's all the money? Why they have to spread that over a 3-year period? Why can't they just come in and go, there's the money, Mike, take it or leave it? Why this money? Then why spread it over a 3-year period? And then you can see the bottom sentence right there. Sports Direct will continue to be allowed to advertise during that 3-year period. So 125 million gets put down, and then the next 3 years, with interest, £175 million instalments get given to Mike Ashley, and Mike Ashley is still allowed to advertise Sports Direct until it's 100% paid over. Where's the money at? If you're serious about buying the club, stop coming in with 50s and 100s, because we've seen it with Amanda Stavely haggling, allegedly, I must stress, over 50 million. Lee says it's weird that Kenyon's returned once upon again. I'll keep my mind open, but I'm prepared to be disappointed. Gary says it's a last chance saloon. I think it's gone, Gary. I think it's not even a last chance. The last chance went to the Bin Zaid group. Not even worth getting excited over anyway. The man does not have the money. I agree, Mark. I have to agree because he's going to this US firm who own Bordeaux and are trying to get in the market and only own around about 14 or 17% of Bordeaux. It's not much, but they got Bordeaux a lot of finance, so they run the club. That was part of the deal. It's very, very odd. It's an odd timing as well because normally people are saying, "Oh, it's because the attendance is down and all that," but you normally have it in an international break or closer to a transfer window. We're in the end of September. We haven't really got a transfer window for another 3 months. The timing of it's suspicious, especially when it's dated in June. But who are they? So who are the GACP Sports? So this is in the brochure, and you can find the brochure anywhere online. So they're telling them a little bit about themselves, that they're General American Capital Partners, a private equity firm based in Miami. It's a lovely city. I've been there a couple of years ago. Miami, Coral Gables, the base, I believe. I've driven past there as well. Mad. But this is basically where the base and who's in that group. Okay, so you've got, as you can see on the left there, you've got Peter Kenyon, the operating partner. So if this bid was to happen, he would then become the operating. Basically, he's going to be chief executive, effectively, isn't he? He's going to be the managing director. He would probably take Lee Charlie's job. So it obviously goes on to detail, blah, 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 blah. He's restructured Man United, Chelsea. We all know that he's done fantastic stuff, in particular for Man United. Former chief executive director of Umbro, blah, 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 established and blah, 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 blah. And then it's Joseph Da Grossa. I'm not going to lie, I haven't heard of him. And he's the chairman of the board and also for Bordeaux. And then you got David Neathart, if I pronounced that right. Again, I don't know much about him. Board member, again, of Bordeaux. And then it lists, obviously, underneath what he does, what his achievements are, etc., etc. The third one, Hugo Varela, who I have heard of because he used to be a footballer. He's operating partner. So basically, he is effectively the managing director / chief executive of Bordeaux. Former professional footballer for Lisbon. Former sports agent. That's the only two that I know from those two. Right, okay, so you've got Peter Kenyon. So if this, let's just say it happens and it goes through and we're all singing, we're all happy, we're dancing, blah, 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 blah. Right, let's just say the bid happens and the takeover happens, right? Where's the money? If you can't afford £300 million money, where are you? You're talking about taking Newcastle to the top 10 to then compete in Europe. You can't afford 300 million to buy the club. You've got to structure it over the course of 3 years. So how are you going to get Newcastle commercially in that top 10 back into Europe? I don't believe it. I don't believe he has the money. Don't get me wrong. If you offered Mike Ashley or Peter Kenyon's group, I think majority of people will go for Peter Kenyon because we want Mike Ashley at the club. Everybody wants that. You didn't want Mike Ashley hanging around. Even if Peter Kenyon spent the same amount of money as Mike Ashley's group, I think the communication with fans and the relationship with fans will just go ping. There's only one way it can go. You can't get down. You can't get worse than Mike Ashley. He's got no relationship with the club. Never has Lee Charney. Lee Charney puts out your generic statement. That's it. I think that'll improve. Would fans accept that? To some extent, probably. Not me. If you're talking about going in the top 10 and wanting to get Newcastle United, you can throw all these figures. Anybody who's seen the brochure can throw in these figures. Newcastle used to be big on Spurs and all that. Yeah, to some extent, right? But if you're not going to put the money where your mouth is, I don't want. Well, do I want you? I want my Ashley out. Of course I do. Don't get me wrong. But I don't want somebody who's going to come in who's not actually going to push the club to the next level. They say that they are, but where's the money? That's my question to this group. Let's have a look what he's saying in the live chat before we get on to Steve Bruce's press comments. Liam says it's just like the Sunderland takeover talks. Gary says get your balls out. Paul says happy birthday mate, fourth take attempt in 2 years and it won't happen. If Bordeaux are just about challenging the top 6 of the French league, how will we be in the Premier League? Mike Ashley out. John says I will give it time for news on this takeover stuff, but don't think it will happen for years to come. Ashley's just happy for TV money and staying in the league unless Ashley gets spread the costs of forward transfers in that time. I hope this happens. Look, of course, the structured game and everybody wants it to happen, but you can see why myself and a lot of other fans, and I'm not speaking on behalf of fans, I'm speaking for our group, we don't believe it. We're very, very sceptical of it. And I'm sure Paul will have a little rant. Paul, big shout out to you. I'm sure Paul will have a rant probably on the Facebook page of our private group. Right. Got that off my chest. See, Bruce. had his press conference this morning. You can see him giggling. It wasn't from this morning, this picture, I must stress. He was basically turned around and said about the takeover. He doesn't know nothing about it. He walked in this morning and, hey, it was news to him. Is he telling any white lies? I don't know. Did he know nothing about it? Probably. He's not going to know what happens at boardroom level because Charlie and Ashley are best mates. Keep it hush-hush. However, he was asked about the opposition, etc. He said Leicester's going to be a tough game. Of course, we're going to be down at Leicester. It's me, Kyle and Jonathan. We've still got the radio show happening the same day as well. We've got Rob, Paul, a couple of YouTubers. I think Rubenstein's coming on. I think PD Proudlock's coming on to the channel as well for the live show as well. So keep an eye out for that. But the team news is interesting. Bruce has turned around and said he has a few injury updates. So Shelvey, that's the big one. John Joe Shelvey is out for 2 weeks. He has a hamstring. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think we're going to miss him. And that's, don't get me wrong, I think John Joe Shelvey's technically our best player, but for me, he just doesn't do it enough. Sean Longstaff's been back in training this week as well. If he's 80% fit, he starts for me. I think then you're going to play alongside Isaac Hayden. But for Shelvey, for me, he's just not doing it enough at this level for me. You can't have one good game every 10 for me. So for Shelvey, for me, he's got to, especially when Florian Lejeune comes back, is there a place in that side? Because Rafa kept him on the bench when Lejeune was in there because you've got Fabian Schär, you've got Lejeune, ball playing centre-backs. One can ping it, the other one can dribble out. I don't think you'd need Shelvey in that hole. Get rid of him, move him further forward or drop him. And for me, if he's not going to play further forward, he hasn't got a place in this side. So I'd rather have two holding midfielders than John Joe Shelvey. Other team news as well. Some better news going regarding, I've mentioned Sean Longstaff. Obviously, he's been in training all week. Will Bruce risk him? That's probably the only doubt around that. Andy Carroll and Alan Saint-Maximin are fine. Obviously, they were tested on the weekend. Carroll came through, not a problem. For me, though, and this might be controversial, but I would drop Almiron. I'm going to say it. I think I agree with Johnny now. I think he's got to start producing now. 15, 16 games without any assists or any goals is not good enough. I know he works hard and he works great, but I think a rest for Almiron for 1 or 2 games will do him the world of good as well as the team. I would like to see Alan Saint-Maximin start ahead of Almiron. If both of them start, hey, I'll be out of the moon. But if I had to choose between one of the two, for me, Alan Saint-Maximin has got to start. He's had another week of training, and I just don't think Almiron's producing. And I don't want to be harsh, but let's be reality. Goals are going to keep you up in this league. And yes, I know we're playing very defensive, which I know Nobby Solano's talked about this week. But goals will keep you up in this league, and we're not scoring enough. Matt Ritchie will not make it. He's out. It was a few rumours that he may be back for Leicester. So expect Jetro Williams to continue at this left back or left wing back role. I'm expecting Bruce to go for the left wing back. And then you're talking Florian Lejeune and Dwight Gill are expected to be back in October. DeAndre Yedlin is in contention to either start or come off the bench. Again, that gives Steve Bruce a lot more options. We know that Emil Croft has had a difficult start his Newcastle career. Manquillo played the last game. Does he go in and go with Yedlin? Because I know Vardy likes to fly over that left side over the top balls. Is he going to have Yedlin to get back and chase back? Because whatever you say about DeAndre Yedlin, his recovery for pace is phenomenal. Let's have a look what you're saying in that live chat before we wrap up. So thank you very much for everybody who's commented today. And Gary says, my thoughts exactly. Almiron needs to start earning his door, says Gary. Yeah. Lee says ASM is the man. Should be number 10. He's played out of position. To some extent, John, I would agree with Almiron, he is. But he's got to get some goals. I know he's a threat, but we need more than just a threat. You know what I mean? We've got to start producing because Joe Linton can't do it all on his own. We play so defensive, and I think that's Steve Bruce has to get his defence 10 yards further forward. And I know you run the risk of the ball in behind because that's what Vardy plays to. I don't say that. I think Newcastle will play very deep. That's why I think Saint-Maximin is really important. He has to start this weekend for me. And then he can bring Andy Carroll on later on. Luke says 4-1-4-1. Maximum needs to start. Almiron on the 10 and number 11. And that is it. That's what Steve Bruce has effectively said in his press conference today. Coming up tomorrow, we've got Owen doing a combined 11. And then, as I mentioned already, me, Kyle and Jonathan are going to be down Leicester. That'll be a drive-down preview and all the vids from the King Power Kyle absolutely loves Leicester, of course he does. And then we've got the radio show at 6. The lads will be going live, as I mentioned. A couple of other YouTubers are coming onto the channel, as well as Paul and Rob, who will be in the studio. But that is it. That is the latest with the takeover. If more happens, of course, we'll cover it. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Have a good day, watch this day, and see you later.